Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Tuesday Legacy Fight Night. I am your host, Dr. Leo. I'm here with my good homie, Chaotic Bear. How you doing, buddy?
Evening, man. I'm excited to see some Legacy. How are
I
you?
am. I am doing well. I got a little bit of time off of work to hop back into a stream. It feels good. I know the community misses me, and sorry I'm a little bit behind on articles. I'm saving up for this big one this upcoming weekend with the big Legacy finale, the season finale tournament. Going to be big, and honestly, this is the last chance for a lot of these players to get those last minute points before we're coming into the big finale.
Yeah. I was hoping that we'd have some nail biter stories there. Trying to the way the points shook out. The top eight is basically set. There's one potential tiebreak match tonight, but
Yeah.
still getting to we had a lot of interest for this fight night tonight, so it's exciting to get to see people play.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of people are trying to get those last minute squeaking in points or to increase their lead just so they make sure they come in at that top seed. So it's really exciting to see that, people are getting really involved with the Discord. I'm super excited for this as invitational this Saturday. And honestly, it's just gonna be a good week of magic. Like honestly, I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see this matchup here. Argon Platypus on Jund. He was in my league pool this month, and I got to lose to this deck real hard. And then Nacho on Steel Stumpy. You got a
Yeah.
favorite?
Yeah. So I really like this matchup. Honestly, Nacho, good friend of mine. I've played him several times. Great guy. Really knows his Steel Stompy though. He's coming in the top eight last couple of tournaments. Really been crushing it, doing well with the Steel Stompy. And honestly, I think the most important card of this entire matchup is just going to be Stone Coil Serpent. This card is a absolute house against Jund. I don't think he has a way of actually removing it at all.
Yeah, I can tell you from experience, in Four Color Loam, it's also hard to get rid of. You just stare at those abrupt decays and just shake your fist. I even play Kaya now, and Kaya can't deal with it either.
Oh yeah, it murdered
Yeah.
me several times when I was playing it, and oh, we got
Oh,
Argon on the play.
our end of the play looks like both players kept seven, so
Yeah,
going to be
both
a
players
healthy start here.
both players are on seven, and importantly here, Nacho has the
Oh, the
most
Trinity.
important start, which is that turn one chalice on one.
Yeah, Argon doesn't have a turn one Thought Seize or Cabal Therapy or anything to take care of it, so
No,
looks like four Thought Seize to him to Turak as the discard suite in the main.
yep. And oh, we're seeing Argon taking it out with a wasteland. So importantly in this deck, though, we do have some new cards, and importantly, most important card of all this entire deck are the two village rights in the deck.
You know, you say that because you are you're a Nick Fit man, but have you played against Nighthawk Scavenger yet?
Oh yes, and I was actually talking with Argon about this
Ooh.
card. So I was just playing a little bit when it comes to village rights. This card is bonkers. Like
Yeah,
honestly, did not expect it. This card is so good.
it does everything. It has every keyword, and it's one cheaper than Questing Beast
Yes.
somehow.
Yeah, it's got every keyword. Importantly, though, it's a flying attacker. That's like so important nowadays because the ground gets clogged up with elk tokens, all this sort of stuff. It gets in there. It's very big. The only downside to it is unfortunately it does die to bolt. But in this deck, no bolts to be seen.
Yeah,
Eh,
looks like players have played a few turns here while we've been chatting, just blowing up some wastelands and playing a Mox Opal. Thought season to Chalice, and Nacho catches
yeah,
the trigger there. So
no, Nacho knows. Just casually tapping. Just no,
yeah,
that's not resolving. Sorry,
yeah. I always
but
tell my opponent, no thanks, whenever they try that with me.
yeah, the importantly here with this chalice on one, that does cut out the four lightning bolts, four thoughtseize, unfortunately two village rights, and at least none of the creatures it seems. But
Yeah.
I mean, this is a deck that can work through a chalice on one. This is not just a delver deck that can die to that. And
Oh, Loathsome Golem.
lodestone golem. Been a
Ooh.
minute since we've seen this card.
Yeah, the 5/3 that's restricted in Vintage. So Argon
Yeah.
Platypus is already only has two lands and no threat on the board. That's just going to make everything a little harder to cast. While Nacho
Yeah.
continues to get in and can't be bolted because of Chalice. That's pretty good. Pretty good combo there.
Oh yeah, I love the card with Lodestone Golem. It's just so good. Just being able to really tax on mana, as well as the fact that it really doesn't affect your game plan at all. Like when you have things like Thorn of the Amethyst or Sphere Resistance, that can really affect your game plan, and you can even get tripped up by it by a
Mhm.
clever Wasteland or two. But when it comes to Lodestone Golem, everything in the deck is an artifact. You don't care.
Yeah.
Well, with the exception of the one Karn Scion of Urza.
Yeah, but that's close. That's like an honorary artifact, right?
It's pretty much an honorary artifact, and
Yeah.
yeah, Prez, you know me. I might be playing around with some wild decks. It might be on Storm, but Nick fits my heart, and I do love me a good old Village Rites. And importantly, here we do have the clock though in the form of Goyf, and this Goyf right now is a one, two, three, four, five.
Yeah. As the saying is, though, dies to golem. Isn't that what everyone says when a new creature's spoiled?
That you're not wrong, but at the same time, I mean, this deck can be very. I mean, Goyf is not the end all be all. This is not the biggest beater that's gonna be on the town here. Even something like Stonecoil Serpent can get bigger. And oh wow, three Wasteland draw.
Wow. And Argon Platypus with the three basics. I think he's obviously smart enough to aggressively fetch out those basics.
Yeah,
But
and Chaotic Bear, you are the basic land expert. Which basics are those that Argon's playing with?
the they're I think from a one of the dual products. It's not anthologies. It's not. It's one of those products. I'll figure it out before we. Deck Masters. I believe it's Deck Masters, not
Deck
Duel Masters.
Masters? Because I'd say that forest is looking pretty nice.
Yeah. I don't know what art that is offhand. I assume all these are reprints. I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, and there's the
Yeah, they're
Goyf
from Deck
down.
Masters.
Okay. There
Yeah.
goes the Goy for the Loso Golem, and I would 100% make that trade every single time. Because
Yeah. Nacho's deck is a lot of the creatures are more critical mass than Argon. Argon is just going to play like, here's a dummy, you got it. Here's a dummy, you got it.
hold on, this Bloodbraid Elf cannot be cast because
No,
oh no, the
Lodestone
no the
Golem's gone.
Loso Golem's gone. Gone,
Yep.
yeah. And we got
Oh,
a Goyf.
so not
Oof,
only here's a dummy, here's two dummies. Yeah.
Bloodbraid Elf. Like honestly, it's what makes the Jund decks Jund. And honestly, hitting two threats off of it, this is a clock. This is an actual clock, and importantly here, Nacho needs to find some sort of pressure or something. I think he's only got a few cards in hand.
Yeah. And I don't think that this deck is going to be great at coming back from behind, honestly.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, once again, it's a mono brown deck, basically more akin to Mud back in the old days, except for you're not casting things like Blightsteel Colossus stuff like that. And
oh,
Josh Lutton,
it's, it's
Josh
just a what?
Lahut, just Lahut.
Oh,
There
just
we go.
I'm sorry, I misread that as a B at the end. My
Oh,
bad, y'all.
oh, thank you for the follow. Appreciate the love. And we're just here promoting good legacy play. And good legacy play involves Wasteland hitting Taigas. And yeah, here's a serious clock though. This is this is 7 points of damage coming in.
Yeah,
Nacho's down to looks like 8 if I see that correctly. Yeah, it looks like he's down to 8. And oof, this is looking to be a close game. And this is
yeah.
here we
That could
go.
game next turn.
Yeah, Nighthawk Scavenger, and that's game.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a serious clock. And wow, that was game one.
yeah. I don't want to say it was an upset, but Nacho definitely didn't get off to the early explosive start that this deck is capable of.
Yeah, it definitely needed that ancient tomb, and it looks like he just got stuck with too many slow lands in his hand. And yeah, so we got Nacho in the play with Steel Stompy next round, and here's the sideboard. And remember, this is not a Karn the Great Creator deck. This is a Karn Scion of Urza deck. So this is not a wish board. So we got one Graph Digger's Cage, two Seal Primordium. Been a minute since I've seen that card, one Sorcerer's Spyglass, two Spatial Contortions, two Chokes, two Ensnaring Bridges, four Leyline of the Void, and one Phyrexian Metamorph. What do you like here?
There's honestly not a whole lot. I like Sorcerer's Spyglass to turn off Wastelands. There are zero basics in that deck, so turning that off is nice. Uh, Maybe Ensnaring Bridge, if you can get under it yourself, then you can keep them from killing you, and maybe don't know what the metamorph is for. I mean, just value. I feel
I
like
mean, it's
this
extremely
is
good, and
nothing.
it's great in the show and tell matchups.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fine here too to just copy Argon's big threats. I think because you're leaning really hard on your golems as your top end.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree. And Josh, thanks for the follow, homie. Sorry about that, butchering your name. It just
oh
came in right at the perfect color that was also just blending in with the background. Oh, much love, buddy.
yeah, I can
But
see it in chat now. That's nice.
yeah, I really like the one of Graph Digger's Cage. Now, is
Yeah,
importantly here, there's no like
there's
Lily
not.
the Veil or anything like that that you can easily sorcerer spyglass though.
Well, I think it's worth it just for Wasteland. I
Yeah.
mean, it he does Argon doesn't lean on that. It's sort of like a backup plan, but um, just getting the lands wastelanded out of that deck is so critical. You don't have the rent. Oh, another Azrael Chimera. Thanks for hanging out with us here.
Thanks for the follow. Appreciate the love.
Um, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit more sympathetic to people blowing up lands because I tend to play decks that either blow up lands or are sensitive to having their lands blown up.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the this is very much a game where attrition of lands matters. This isn't a days
Mm,
matchup. This isn't anything like that. But each one of these players are running a lot of non-basics, and if you can take them off, as we saw in this matchup, it's these decks really rely on those soul lands. So because of that, I really think bringing that sorcerer spyglass like you suggested is not too bad. But bringing it over to Jund here, we got one carpet of flowers, two pyroblast, two surgical extraction, two assassin's trophy, two cleansing wildfire,
mhm.
and you I love this card.
I
We
know
had a
you love this
long
card.
conversation about how I love this card and one collector roof, two Lily Last Hope, two Plague Engineer, and one Toxic Deluge. Throwing it back old school style. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, Collector Oof is the easy grab there. I like Assassin Trophy because it's just better abrupt decay in this matchup. Um, what do you think about Cleansing Wildfire? Do you think that any of Nacho's lands are important enough to try to blow up there?
Oh, I love Cleansing Wildfire. There's not a single basic in this deck. That
Yeah,
is just value. I
yeah,
love it. It's a
yeah.
cantrip. It replaces itself. Like this is 100%. I'm bringing it in this matchup. If I could have picked a more perfect matchup for this card, I don't think I could find one. Maybe like 12 posts, like the non-basic
Oh,
12 post.
don't do it to him.
I love it. I really think bringing in the cleansing wildfire because there's enough cards in here that are kind of duds. So like scavenging ooze, even though it is an amazing beater, and I've won many a game off the back of scavenging ooze, it's one of those things. It's not a graveyard based matchup, so you can trim
Yeah,
there. Hymn to Turok, I think, is important to trim because honestly, this is a wasteland style deck. You're not going to really get double black all that often on turn two, and this also it's a deck that empties its hand and relies off top decks as basically like Jund.
yeah,
Um, it's one of those things that you also important is you have the K command in the deck as main deck artifact hate.
yeah.
So I really like that. I could see Assassin's Trophy being good here just to hit like any of the other top ends. But I honestly think this matchup's going to come down to Stonecoil Serpent.
Yeah, I mean, if Nacho can land a Stone Coil Serpent, that would be just great. It's very hard to deal with, as we mentioned there. Um, Play Engineer and Toxic Deluge could both get rid of him. I don't know if Argon is if Stone Coil is like on the top of his mind to be worried about here, but those are at least answers in the 75 to it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I've lost many a times to Stonecoil Serpent when I played against Nacho. It was just I had a board with Oko, Ice Fang Quaddle, and other big multicolored beasts, and Abrupt Decay in hand. And I'm just like, oh, I have no plan for this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I honestly think this card is gonna be so good in the matchup, and it's gonna be really interesting to see like where the cuts are because honestly, like I don't see where you can cut them. I mean, Jit is just so good in this matchup up as well. Like there's a lot of good cards in this matchup. I really just like this entire matchup.
Prez suggesting Pernicious Deed here. Yeah, we
Oh
we know
yeah,
you're a fan.
oh yeah. Deed Deed is an A+ answer to Steel Stompy. In fact, I remember one game I played against Nacho. I let him commit everything to the board, and I just deeded for three, and I was Okay, his lands were gone. Everything else was gone. But Deed is legit. If you ever want to play a fun Magic card, definitely play some Deed. Oh, Arcbound Ravager to start.
So totally different start from last game here.
Yeah. Importantly, though, Soul Land. That's so
Yep.
important. And if Nacho can maintain that Soul Land, that's going to give him the mana advantage that he needs.
Yep. No chalice this round, unfortunately. So Argon will be able to get a turn one Thoughtseize if he has it or wants it. Oh, we're just gonna see a
Ooh.
bolt the Ravager.
Yeah, that is a beautiful bolt.
That is a beautiful. I think it is. I think that his bolts are black bordered revised.
Ooh, nice.
Which just hits different from beta.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we are seeing Nacho going down to 14 already. Slam a walking ballista for 2.
Yeah. I
All
mean,
right.
Argon only has so much removal.
Oh.
I don't think
Oh,
that you're
that
going to
would
get
have
that in
been
a future battle, but
a insane turn because if the Arcbound Ravager had stayed on the board, that would mean that you can create a
there's a whiff. Is that an
that's
ancient
a
Tomb
hard
Expo?
whiff.
Is that an ancient Tomb
Yeah.
Expo or Wasteland? Okay.
Yeah, so that was a Caracas, looked
Land.
like
And it was a Mishra's
yeah,
Factory for the
Mishra's
other land.
Factory and Tree of Tales. So importantly
Or
here,
Tree of Tales.
I really think that could have been what was this turn 3? I think that could have possibly been a turn 4 kill if the Arcbound Ravager had survived. Because turn 1 play Arcbound Ravager, turn 2 play Ballista for 4. Turn 3 play Tree of Tales, sacrifice it to the Arcbound Ravager, attack in, that's 4.
It's 2. It's XX for Ballista.
Yeah, and then you add it at 2, and then you sacrifice the Arcbound Ravager to its own effect to put it onto Ballista and then shoot. That could have possibly been turn 3 or turn 4 lethal.
That's like 6 damage on turn 3.
Yeah,
That's
that's not
pretty
too
bad.
bad.
But we see there's our backup Arcbound, so we do get the interaction you're talking about. Arcbound Ravager banned in Modern, right? So this may not be.
No,
Oh, it's
Mox
not.
Opal
Okay.
was banned
Oh,
in
gotcha.
Modern. That killed Modern Affinity, which was already pretty much dead.
Yeah.
So importantly,
Makes sense.
this Nighthawk Scavenger is going to be a 4/3,
It only
or
counts. It only counts your opponent's graveyard, so it's a 1+1 for a 2/3 right now. I
yeah,
believe. Well, oh, it's an artifact creature in the yard.
artifact
So
creature.
2+.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's going to be a 3/3.
But I mean, 3/3 is plenty big on this board. Nacho could sacrifice his entire board to blow it up. I'm not sure if that's useful, but
I don't know about that. I mean, the explosiveness in Steel Stompy is just like the explosiveness in Modern Affinity, except for you get access to the artifact lands.
yeah.
And it's one of those games where it's like playing against old school ATOG. It's well, am I dead? I had to start doing the ATOG count instead. This time you have to start doing the Arcbound Ravager plus Ballista count.
Yeah, but also the Nighthawk has Death Touch, so Nacho won't be able to swing in profitably until he does something to get rid of it. I
That's
mean, I
true.
think sacrificing the entire board is a little premature right now. I agree with you, but
Yeah.
um,
Well, I mean, you don't have to really sacrifice the entire board. You have to activate the Mishra's Factory, which turns into an artifact creature.
mhm.
Oh wait, but you have no
But
way of putting it onto there. Yeah. Well, mm, yeah, because it's 4 to pump.
yeah, it's
This
four.
is
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he could take 4 damage with his 2 tombs and blow it up that way, or he could sack Ravager to put a counter on there. I mean, we're gonna see what happens here because Argon looks like he's going in for the block somewhere. I
yeah.
mean,
It looks
it's
like
basically just free. You got to make him do it. So
yeah, exactly. You really need to force it because otherwise, this Nighthawk Scavenger is going to start hitting you for way more.
yeah, so
Oof.
Nacho gonna fall to 8 life here to put 2 more counter or put another counter on there.
And importantly, this block is going on the ballista.
Yep. So they'll trade there just because Ballista's big enough.
Yeah.
Don't you miss damage on the stack? How much better would Ballista be?
Oh my god. If walking a ballista and damage on the stack still lived in the exact same realm, it would be a wild place to live, my friend.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live here.
But then are we also including life gain goes on the stack again? Because then Uro just becomes stupid.
Um, I mean, I don't think damage on the stack was. I'm not sad to see it go. I know there
Yeah.
was some magic hipsters online, but oh, the backup Nighthawk.
Yeah.
Um, So yeah, Nacho in even possibly a worse position this turn.
Yeah, because this Nighthawk can very quickly go lethal. Because Nacho's at 8. Those ancient tombs are looking pretty harsh. Definitely needed some sort of city of traders or something like that.
Yep. And we've got yep. So they have exactly equal amounts of damage available to him each turn. Argon can swing in for 3, gain 3, and there's eat 3 from Nacho if he wants.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way to look at it. Uh-oh. Did we lose Nacho's feed here?
Now we're back. We're good.
Okay, okay, we're good.
So
And
swinging. This doesn't feel like much of a bluff to me. It's just a free block.
I don't know. It's one of those things that if he does block, he can also because Knight does it have lifelink as well?
Yeah. It has Death Touch, Lifelink, and Flying.
Of course.
Yeah. All these. That's what I was comparing it to Questing Beast.
Oh yeah, you're not
Uh,
wrong with that, my friend. Questing
yeah.
Beast is a wall of text, and I love it.
You know, the spatial contortion in Nacho's sideboard would be a great get right here. We didn't mention it during the sideboard talk, but
That's true.
that
Yeah,
is
there's two of spatial contortion. Yeah, that could. That's actually a legitimate thing. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Prezis
So
Vampire Nighthawk with upside. Yeah, Wizard, the power creep is real on these creatures. I missed a day since spells were good. I'll
yeah.
shut up about that.
Are you sure you just don't want your direct printed demand power creep directly sent to you?
I don't want to talk about that. I ordered mine. Whatever. I
Oh,
like
I can.
Stoneblade, and if Stoneblade is good again, then I want to play it. So
Yeah. Okay, that's understandable. Oh, mostly for the Lucille, I'm guessing that comes secret in the box.
no, it's the blue white one that deal. I don't watch the show.
Oh,
When
Glenn.
it deals damage,
Glenn.
Glenn, you draw that many cards. Or you draw cards equal to its power, so you can actually pump it with GT for the counters that it used that turn in response to the trigger,
Mhm.
and just attack every turn, draw 5. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the best course or not for it, but I don't know if that's what you want to do, but it is an option, which is just
Understandable.
insane. So
Yeah.
Steel Overseer here, gonna help beef up the team.
I think it's just a little bit too late. I think
Yeah,
Argon has lethal on the board. He's almost forced into gosh, he can't even get lethal honestly because of the fact that that lifelink on the Nighthawk just grew it all back. Honestly, this Nighthawk Scavenger, a lot of people gave it shit in Legacy for just being bad goif, but man,
yeah,
it's just carried this entire game.
yeah. I mean, it has. I mean, if Goif had any of Flying, Death Touch, or Lifelink, it would be an even more insane card. But the fact this has all of them, uh,
Yeah,
I mean, the even the restriction for opponent's graveyard isn't that bad. I mean, we see it not at its finest here against Nacho with no instants or sorceries, but
yeah, and I think this game just came down to Nacho just couldn't find the Stonecoil Serpent.
yeah,
Like honestly, but this game goes to Argon Platypus finishing it up. And does that? Oh, looks like you got in this spatial contortion. Does this change up the leaderboard at all? Does it shake it up?
no, no. Like I said, all the placements are basically fixed. Just the way that the points lined up. There were possibly some chances for people to move around, but some people that needed to enter didn't enter, and the RNG gods did not smile upon some people. We had 11 people enter, so only 6 can play.
Yeah, and honestly, it's great to see, hey, that some people took an interest in trying to finish out the season, finish it out at the top, which I approve of. This helps us helps show us and the mod team that you want to continue this sort of thing. You want to continue these events. And honestly, for those that have been around, we are the MTGPL Discord. We focus on promoting eternal magic and eternal community. And we're hoping that more people come on out and have a good time with us. Hit exclamation point Discord in the chat, and you get a link for the Discord. But
Yep.
we're gonna get ready for round two, and we'll be back here in just a little bit.
We'll be right back.